Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EarthtonesGirl Podcast. This is Earth Vlog number 54. My name is Denise, and you can find me on the web as EarthtonesGirl. The podcast has a Ravelry group, which is the EarthtonesGirl Podcast group. There is also an email address, which is earthtonesgirl@gmail.com, and also a website, earthtonesgirl.com. Did I just get all that right? Yeah, I think I did. Hello! Oh my gosh, I am back. I am so happy to be back here with you all so soon. The last episode was on February 26th, and this is the first episode for March. Welcome, March. Hope you are all doing well. Again, I am so happy to be back here with you guys. I am buzzing with excitement this week. Oh my gosh, just even more so there's going to be a lot of this. I'm just warning you now. Even more so than usual. I just finished I co-hosted, but I'll get into it. So we just finished the Maker Minutes mid-along. That was all done. That ended on the 28th. And Mars Hey Brownberry and I went live on March 1st on Instagram. And that was so wonderful to just wrap that up and, thank everybody for their participation. We named prize winners and it was just really, really fun. We had such a great time. I know Mars and I are going to be doing another cal of some kind in the future. We haven't decided what yet, but we will definitely be doing something again in the future. She is so calming and soothing. She's sort of the yin to my yang, and I am to her. So I really love working with her, and I love the community that we've created via Maker Minutes, and it was really, really fun. So if you are watching and you participated in that, thank you so much. And we also just finished the 1 week sock knitting challenge. I had to think about that for a second. A 1 week sock knitting challenge, and I co-hosted that with Julianne Knitter. That is her name on Instagram. And oh my gosh, it was such a whirlwind. It started on February 28th and finished this past Saturday at midnight. And the goal was to knit 1 pair of adult socks, any yarn weight, any size, well, within reason, not a child sock, any style. So it could have been a full length sock, a shorty sock, in 1 week. That was the goal, to knit a pair of socks, start to finish, in a 7-day period. And wow, the response was just mind-blowing. People just jumped on it, and new sock knitters, experienced sock knitters. It was so much fun. And Julianne and I both kept stressing over and over and over again that it was not a challenge against anyone. The goal was not to see how fast you could knit versus someone else, or how much faster than your neighbor you could knit. It was just to see how fast you could knit a pair of socks. Maybe you've done it in 2 weeks. So this was your opportunity to try to do it in 1 week. And so much fun. So Julian and I both cast on our socks and we both finished. Yay. I had such a great time, and something's been happening lately in a really, really great way. I find if you've been watching the podcast for a while, you know that I'm obsessed with socks. Really? Huh? Maybe just a little bit. But lately I find I've just gone completely off the deep end with socks, even more than usual. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I'm obsessed. I'm truly, truly obsessed with them. There's so many options and possibilities in knitting a sock. Whether you're doing a challenge like this where you're knitting a pair in a week, or just sitting and it's your downtime knitting, or just knitting your car knitting, whatever it is, I'm so fascinated with all of the possibilities and the options and the ways to explore different techniques just within a sock. Small canvas, portable. It is not a huge expense in terms of the yarn that you purchase. There are many, many price points for yarn, for needles, for everything. It's it's user-friendly, I feel like, across the board for everyone. And if you think I was obsessed before, I'm taking it to a whole new level. Whole new level. I have to, so wait, let me go back to the challenge for a moment. This was the first challenge that we've done for the year, and Julian and I were talking, we definitely want to do some more. So we're thinking possibly once every quarter. So this one happened right at the beginning of March. So the next quarter would be, the end of the next quarter would be somewhere around June, like end of May, beginning of June, then possibly end of August, beginning of September, and then maybe one in December. And it might be really nice to do one at the end of the year because so many people get so stressed with the holidays and prepping and all of that. And I know the holiday season looked so different last year, but it might be nice to just carve out that time and really quiet yourself and center yourself and focus on a project like that at the end of the year. So we're really looking forward to future sock challenges. So stay tuned. I promise to keep you all updated, whether both here and on Instagram. Yeah. So that said, my new pet project. So I've created the No Fear Sock Knitting classes here on YouTube a year ago. And the response has been mind-blowing. And so many of you have learned to knit socks via my tutorials and send me messages about how excited you are and, you know, how helpful the videos were to you. And you have no idea how happy that makes me to hear. But now I want to, and I started to talk about this at the beginning of this year, I really want the sock knitters out there to explore the options with sock knitting. If there's a new heel that you see on Instagram, wow, what heel is that? Oh my gosh, that looks really great. And when you get the name of the heel, go and explore. Get the pattern. Try it yourself. Don't be afraid to experiment with new things. Experiment with new techniques. Even if you don't always get it right. You may also not find a tutorial for it online. I know the response to that would be, well, I'm a visual learner. I need to see it. Totally get that. It's really difficult sometimes to learn how to create a three-dimensional object from reading a one-dimensional piece of paper. I 100% get that. But I feel like people don't give themselves a chance to try, and I really want to encourage that. What I've decided to do for myself is, like many people, I fall into a rhythm. So I cast on my socks, 64 stitches, 2.25 needles, and I will do either a heel flap and gusset, especially now that I've learned the more simplified way, and I do have a tutorial for that here on the channel. I don't turn my sock in profile anymore. I just keep it front to back and I just knit it that way, and it's much, much simpler. So I'm either doing a heel flap and gusset or a short row heel, and my go-to short row heel tends to be the Fish Lips Kiss heel. But again, there are a gajillion, like scroll's length list of options and other types of heels that we can explore. And I am going to do that. And I'm going to be sharing it with you here on the channel. I've been trying to think of ways to share it. Do I just show you my samples when I'm done? Do I do it as an additional class? I've also been thinking about possibly teaching it on a paid-for platform like Patreon, but those are just the thoughts. I'm just sharing the thoughts that are in my head with you. Either way, I will be sharing what I'm doing right here on the channel. But in terms of specifically teaching things, I'm weighing different options for that going forward. So we'll see. Again, my goal is to be as inclusive as I possibly can, and put out as much information as I can to all of you. So yeah, we'll think about that. You know, it's so funny. As I'm thinking, I'm kind of already decided, but I'll tell you later. So anyway, yes, my sock intensive. I have 2 pairs of socks to show you, but what I've decided to do, and I know there's a word for this, I just can't remember what that word is. but I'm going to call it an intensive. It's when you take the works of a particular maker, artist, musician, actor, actress, whatever platform you're on, or whatever your interest. You take the works of that person and you study them from start to finish, or everything that they've explored, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A to Z, whatever that is. And it is, so if you have an actor that's made 10 movies, so you start from his first performance and you work your way through to his last performance, and you analyze and critique it and study it, and how did he evolve, how did he devolve, how did he change, etc., or she. And so what I want to do with my sock knitting is pick one area and focus exclusively on that area. And that is going to be heels. With the occasional alternate toe thrown in. But basically it's sock, heels, and toes that I really want to get into. And let's put the toes to the side for a second. I want to explore different heel options for the sake of pure experimentation, just out of my own curiosity, as well as fit. What fits better? I know how a heel flap and gusset sock heel fits. I know how a short row heel fits. But how do the others fit? How do they feel? How does it feel to knit them? How do they feel once they're knitted and on my feet? Does it give me more room in the instep? Because a lot of people have high insteps and instep issues. And the sock is tight across the instep. So I want to explore all of that and then share my findings with you here. I was talking to Mars the other day, and sharing this idea with her, and she was like, what? Mind blown. She was so excited at the idea. And she suggested a book to me. Now, I have a lot of sock knitting books. I put a little snippet, a little video clip here in the beginning of just maybe 4 or 5 books. And that's this many compared to a shelf that's this wide times 3. So I have a lot of knitting books and sock knitting books. And there's a lot of general techniques in knitting that can be applied to heels. But I didn't have this one book on my shelf, and Mars suggested it. And I've seen it out there, but didn't really explore the book. And she suggested that I look into this book. It is Sock Architecture by Lara Neel. Oh my gosh. I ordered it from Amazon. It arrived in the mail. And I started flipping through this book, and I swear I really did feel my head kind of explode a little bit. There are so many I don't know if you can see because there's a bit of a glare, but just that heel alone, there are so many options. Maybe if I put it there, there's such a glare, but there are so many options when you're knitting a heel, and I want to explore those. And this book goes into such detail with how to knit these heels. Not only that, best part, it also teaches you, it gives you the formula with each heel. It gives you a formula how to customize that to match the numbers in your sock. I don't have any words. I am so blown away by what is in here that, oh my gosh. If you thought I knit socks before, guys, like I said, oh my gosh. Just looking at this page, I am on page 27 in top-down socks, and there is a modified shaped common heel. There is a balbriggan heel. Never heard of that. Beautiful. There is a band heel. There is a bootstrap heel. Afterthought heels with gussets. Did you even think a thing was possible? Oh my gosh. Afterthought heel with a gusset. I mean, what? What else is in here? We have short row heels. They go into explanation with short row heels. A thumb joint hat top heel and toe. What's also interesting about this book is it goes into a lot of the heels and toes in this book match each other. like I just read, the thumb joint, hat, top, heel, and toe. So it is a matching heel and toe. Again, if you've been following me for a while, I love symmetry. I love things to match. One of the reasons I have an issue with a German short row heel is because the two sides of the heel don't match exactly. They don't look the same. Do you still get a heel? Absolutely. Do the two sides not look exactly alike? And that drives me nuts. But people have been making suggestions to me. Someone here in the comments, thank you to this person, I cannot think of your name at the moment, but someone suggested something called a shadow wrap heel. So I rush right over, I look up shadow wrap heel on YouTube, and amazing. And as I'm down that rabbit hole, I see another heel called a mock short row heel. So my point is with all of this is I'm going to explore all of those and share them here with you. Can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do that. And I encourage you all to knit along with me. I know some may not for financial reasons be able to purchase the book. I totally understand that. I'm not asking you to. I am not sponsored by Lara, Neel in any way. I am just sharing my resources with you. I will put a link to the book down below. You may be able to find it at your local yarn shop. You may be able to find it at the library, used bookstores. There's options out there. Also, YouTube is a huge resource. I have said before, I'm not the source by any means for sock knitting. There's so many amazing tutorials and videos out there. Go and explore. Have fun. If you find something that you haven't heard me mention here, put it in the comments. Let me know. I had never heard of a shadow wrap heel, and someone shared that with me, and I'm so grateful. Woohoo! There's a lot we can all learn from each other, and let me know. Don't assume that I know. Again, I am not the be all end all single source for sock knitting. No, and I wouldn't want to be. That is just way too much pressure. But there's a lot out there, and I encourage you and encourage you, want to push you a little bit to explore those options. I'm doing kind of a mama bird and like kicking you out of the nest. Just go and explore those options. There's so much out there to learn. So much. So that said, I'm going to talk to you about my socks. So the pair that I made for the 1 week sock challenge, oh my gosh, you guys, I've knit more socks than I probably can count at this point. And this pair, I think, may be my all-time favorite. There's just something about these, the color, the way the yarn felt in my hands and on my needles. All right, I'll stop talking. Here they are. Okay. Look at these, you guys. I feel like the light today, it's a beautiful sunny day, as you can tell from the window. But I don't feel like these are even really being done justice with the colors. They are so rich, yet so subtle. They look like watercolors. I posted about these on Instagram, of course, and I said they look like watercolors and sherbet, like ice cream, Easter eggs. They look like spring. I love the way the colors are distinct but yet bleed into each other. Oh my gosh, I can't get enough. I love these so much. And this yarn is called Faded Rainbow, and it is by Tiny Human Knits. I will link to her down below. She does updates pretty frequently, maybe twice a month. She's sometimes gone longer. She's sometimes been more frequent. So definitely go and follow her on Instagram. Turn on your notifications so you know when she's doing an update. I know she was waiting on a big shipment of yarn, but she just received it. So yeah, Faded Rainbow, Tiny Human Knits. And I've got some more of her yarn right up here. I love her base. It is just... oh, it's delicious. Just absolutely amazing. And this is two 50-gram balls. I ordered two because I knew I didn't want to play around that one was not going to be enough, and I really wanted to be a little more generous with the length of the leg. So I ordered two 50-gram skeins, and I've got about 15 to 18 grams left. And I'm not sure, I may just make mitts with them. I don't know yet, but there is definitely some left over. I could even incorporate them into a scrappy pair of socks. And my usual go-to, 64 stitches, 2.25, fish lips kiss heel. And my usual, somebody asked me in the last episode what my go-to white or cream colored yarn is. And again, it's Malabrigo sock yarn in natural. That is my go-to in the white. Also, you all are amazing. I put out a call also in the last episode about the Cordovan colorway, that beautiful burgundy brown colorway that Malabrigo has now discontinued. And I got about 3 or 4 messages from some viewers that they found it. One person, I think, found it in Norway or in the Netherlands, and somebody else found it, I think, in Germany. Thank you for taking the time to do that and to look. It's that kind of support means so much to me, and I'm so, so grateful that you took the time to do that. Thank you so very much. I also got a comment in the last episode that I say thank you too much. Why do I explain, apologize, and say thank you too much? Gratitude is good, and saying thank you is good. And I never for a moment want my viewers and my subscribers to feel like I'm just here talking at my camera and then I'm off. Never want that. And I want to be clear with everything I'm doing, with everything I'm planning. Some of it happens, some of it doesn't. But saying thank you is important. And I think if more people in the world said thank you, it would be a very, very different place. Really different. So that's all I have to say about that, in the words of Forrest Gump. So anyway, here are my socks. Love them. Go check out her yarn. Again, she's not paying me to say any of this. I just think it's beautiful. And the other pair of socks that I did, and I talked about this on Instagram and promised to go into it a little bit more here in this episode. So I'm going to do that. My other pair of socks and other FO are these. Those heels. Look at those heels. Now, what looks a little different about those heels, you all? Just peeking to be sure they're in camera. I did right in here, I did something called the mini heel flap adjustment by Mina Phillip, who is the knitting expat. I decided to add that adjustment and then knit the fish lips kiss heel. Yes, you heard me correctly. Mini heel flap adjustment. I have talked about this before here on the channel. Mini heel flap adjustment with a fish lips kiss heel. The result? Room in the instep, you all. Room, space, no more pulling, no more stretching. Oh my gosh. Now, the next question after I shared this on Instagram was, will you teach this? Can you write this down? Can you show me how to do it? I cannot specifically teach it because both patterns are paid for patterns, and I will link to them both down below. The mini heel flap adjustment is part of Mina's vanilla sock recipe pattern that she is a paid for pattern, which is available on Ravelry. I believe she has it available on another platform for people that are not using Ravelry. I'm not quite sure. I will look and see what I can link for you down below. But that heel flap adjustment is part of that pattern. So, and again, the pattern is paid for. So out of respect for Mina, I cannot teach that. Out of respect for any designer, it is paid for. It's their intellectual property. So I will not teach that. The instructions are so clear. I mean, you are basically, what I can share with you, you are basically knitting a mini heel flap. So you're working on your sock, you get your leg as long as you want it to be, then you will work the mini heel flap adjustment, which again is just a mini heel flap. So the same way that you would go back and forth on a heel flap, that is what you're doing here. for as long as the pattern explains it to you, because she gives you options to make it longer or shorter. She does give you a set number, but then also gives you options depending on your needs, and then explains within the pattern how to do her German short row heel. But also says in the pattern, you can substitute any short row heel. It is so clearly written, so detailed. I mean, honestly, the pictures are crystal clear. So for the visual learners, Mina has put in so many images for you to follow along, step-by-step images. And again, the fit is just amazing. And then once I did the heel flap, the mini heel flap adjustment, per her instructions, I went in and started right in with the Fish Lips Kiss heel. That pattern is also paid for. And I've even had people say to me, well, it's only $1. I'm sure if you ask the designer, she'll just ask her permission to teach it. Even if it were 50 cents, the price doesn't matter. There is a price on it and it is paid for. So again, out of respect for the designer, I cannot and will not teach it. And I understand that some people do have an issue with it and want to see a video. All I can say is reach out to Patty Joy, who is the designer. She is Socks Therapist on Instagram. Reach out to her. She does have 2 mini videos that explained how she does her twin stitches, which is a part of the pattern. She does have videos for those. Beyond that, I don't remember if they're actual step-by-step picture instructions. I know that her pattern is very clearly written, and I think it's a question of just knitting it slowly. It's also a little intimidating because it's an ebook basically, but if you skip all of the teaching elements of it and go right to the heel, I think that will make it a little bit easier to handle and digest. Does that make sense? I think people feel like they have to do all of the steps and read the entire thing. What I've done, I have read it, absolutely, and it's amazing. But it's okay to just cut to the chase and go right to the heel. So that is what I did. Now, what I also did was, in the original pattern, in Mina's pattern, the way she has you knitting the heel flap, she has the edge stitches on the heel flap have garter stitch bumps, have little bumps. Let me figure out which one. Bear with me a second. This one. This one I did with the bumps that she had in the original pattern. Super clean. There's no holes. It looks beautiful. But there was just something about it for me. I prefer slip stitches on the edge. So I turned around and changed it and did the slip stitches. And to me, just to my eye, nobody else may see it, but to my eye, I think it looks a little bit cleaner, and it's also a little easier to pick up and know exactly where you're going because you're picking up the stitches right underneath the slipped stitches as opposed to going under the garter stitch bumps. When you have a look at the pattern, you will understand. So that was my modification. That's what I did a little bit differently. Yes, so that is how I did that. So much fun, so roomy across the instep. There is no more pulling. What it basically does, what that heel flap adjustment does is it makes the heel deeper. So it makes this pocket for your heel deeper. So once you put the sock on, you're not getting, I'm pulling on the sock now on purpose. You're not getting this pulling that goes on in here. So you're not getting pulling here and you're not getting pulling then across the instep, because this heel pocket, but I'm calling it a pocket for a reason. This heel section pocket area is now deeper. So your heel sits further back, has more room, so there is less pulling across your instep. Give it a try. It's wonderful. The worst that happens is you don't like it. It's not a huge chunk of knitting that you can't rip back. You can put in a safety line. If you want, right where you would put the heel in, just run a safety line in there, work your heel. If you don't like it, just pull your needle out, rip back, and go right back down to your safety. That way you don't have to knit the entire sock and then you're like, ooh, I don't like the way that looks. I don't like the way it feels. And I purposely did it different on the two. No one's going to know the difference, and I will never feel the difference. I've tried these on. I don't feel the difference, but I just wanted aesthetically, I just wanted to see whether changing from the garter stitch bumps to the slip stitches would make a difference. And just aesthetically, just the look of it. And it did. And I love the change. So that was a lot. Just kept spitting that out there. Yeah. So definitely give it a try. Again, experiment with your socks, see what's out there. I'm glancing at my notes as usual, you guys. So, yeah, there's Dutch heels. I'm looking at my list. Dutch heels, French toes, umbrella toes, saddle heels, short shadow wrap heels, mock short row heels, regular German short row heels, Japanese short row heels. Japanese short rows are just, that's a whole other language altogether. And I don't mean that literally, but the look of a Japanese short row is just mind-blowing. The possibilities are just endless, and I'm going to try to explore as many of those as I can, and I cannot wait. So I actually do have a sock. This is a new sock I just cast on last night. I didn't get very much done. Yeah, just this. This was 1 day's worth of knitting, which is awful. For me, it's just awful. I like to be a little bit further along in my socks, but this is My Friend Margaret is the name of this colorway, and it is by the Cozy Knitter. Now, again, usual formula, but I have this on Addy sock rockets. That's what I'm using here instead of my Hayas. So, yeah, this is a slightly heavier yarn, so I feel like the heavier, in my knitting experience, the heavier needle, slightly heavier, less pointy needle goes better with this particular yarn. So that is what I have there. Yeah, so that's where I am with my socks, with my knitting. I don't have any cals in the works right now. I will be teaching toward the end of the month, March 20th and 21st with Vogue Knitting Live. My mitten class is already sold out, so thank you so much to everybody that signed up for that. There is still room in the No Fear Sock Knitting class, and that's 2 parts, Saturday and Sunday, and also in the Tips and Tricks class. So if you are interested, come on over and sign up. I think that's it. I'm going to take a little break from cals and knit-alongs for a little while because I am prepping and have to get samples ready for the classes. And I just want to be a knitter for a little bit. I'm sort of taking, in between, I'm taking my teaching hat off, and I just want to knit all the socks, all of them, all the time. Socks. And just share all of that information with you. More knitter to knitter than right for now than teacher to student. And I think it's just going to be really, really fun. So stay tuned for that. And today is March 8th. It is Monday. It is International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. Yeah. And I think my message today is I am 50 years old, and it took me this long to feel comfortable in my own skin, comfortable with my voice, comfortable with who I am. And aside, world events and day-to-day stuff aside, I'm really comfortable in here. And that feels really good. And I know a lot of women and people don't. If it's possible, and it's within your ability to make changes for yourself, do it. Be more afraid to not try than to try. It's why I'm podcasting. It's why I teach. It's how I go through my day. I want to try. I really don't feel like I have anything to lose. And whether it's exploring my options as a person, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a member of society, I explore my options. I see what choices I have out there, and I explore them. So whether you're sock knitting and exploring your options or living life and exploring your options, just live and enjoy as much as you can. We have all lost. We've all suffered. I don't want to go on and on and on, but just celebrate. Celebrate your life. and I'm going to celebrate mine, and I'm going to knit my socks and share that with you again on future episodes. And thank you for joining me today. I will be back really, really soon. Bye, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all again soon. And don't forget to check out the description box for all of the links, for the tip jar, for everything. And I will see you all again really soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you.